Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Do you remember what was 1.2? It was about what? Circles.
Circles, yeah.
What do you prefer to work with, circles or with lines? To go around or to go straight? Yeah, so we will have today lines, the lines in geometry, not the lines in zoo. The lines, what we are going to learn in this section. After finishing this section, you will be able to find the slope of a line. We will see together what we mean by the slope and how to find the equation if you have the slope and the point, and if you have 2 points also. And how to have the equation in 2 different or 3 different forms: the point slope form, the slope intercept form, and the general form. We will see together what are the equations of the vertical and the horizontal lines, and how to deal with the parallel and perpendicular lines. This is a line. You know what we mean by a line. So when you have a straight line like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, these all are lines. The slope of a line, and let's be more specific, the slope of a non-vertical line. We will mention why it should be non-vertical. The slope that is denoted by M, it is just what? It is a measure. It is a measure. Let me show you, for example, this is a line. This is a line. This is a line. This is a line. This is another line. This is another line. This is another line. This is another line. All our lines, the difference between these lines is that they have different slopes. What we mean by slope here, it is a measure of what? Of steepness. How much it is rising and how much it is going down. How much it is up, how much it is down. So you can think about it like the ratio, geometrically, it is like the ratio between rise and run. The rise here is the vertical distance, how much it is going up. And the run, it is about how much it is going horizontally. So the ratio between the rise and the run is the slope. The rise will be represented by delta y, the change on y. And this will be represented by delta x, the change on x. So the slope is just the difference between the y values over the difference between the x values of 2 points. If you have 2 points on a line, you can find, of course, the slope. What you will do, just you will calculate y coordinate minus y coordinate and x coordinate over x coordinate minus x coordinate. Now I think you can see, if you have a vertical line, what will happen? If we have a vertical line, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. If we have a vertical line like this one, let's take 2 points for an instant. Let's say that this point here, the x-intercept, it is x1. What will be this point, x1 and y1 for an instant? What will be the another point here? It will be x1 again, because x here is fixed because it is a vertical line, and y will be different value. Now notice that the x coordinate is the same. So when you subtract here, you will get what? 0. So this is why the slope of any vertical line is not defined. So we will say that it has no slope when the line is vertical. Great. Are we able, guys? We used here y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Is it the same if I used y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2? Is it the same?
Yes.
It is the same.
But if they're in the same order,
You should follow the same order. So it is a remark here, a warning, a caution. You can use, you start from A to B or from B to A, but you should keep the same direction. Don't change your mind. Don't do this. Don't do this, y2 minus y1 and then x1 minus x2. You will get the negative of the, so don't do that, the negative of the slope. Okay, what about if I choose another point here other than this point? Is the slope will be the same?
Yes.
Is it going to be the same? Yes. The slope is the same no matter which pair of distinct points on the line are you using to find it, because the slope is unique for a line, you have one slope when you have one line. Can you find the slope of a line passes through 2 points? Just apply the definition of the slope. So it will be 4/2, it is 2/4. Unfortunately, it is not 3/2, it is 2/3. Be careful. It is the y values over the x values. Okay, be careful. The delta y over delta x. Now, what the slope tell us about the line? What is the meaning? What you will understand when someone say to you, I have a line with a slope 2/3. It means that if you go 3 steps or 3 units to the right, because this is this is for the y, this is for the vertical change, and this is for the horizontal change. This means that when you move 3 units on to the right, the line will go up 2 units. Let me show you the graph. Here it is. If you now connect these 2 points, to sketch the graph of a line, you need 2 points only. Now, if you have this point and this point, just connect them and you'll have your line. Look here. Let's start from this point. If you go 3 units to the right, let's go 3 units to the right. This is 2, this is 3. What happens vertically? 2 units. So this is the meaning of that. This is what you can understand from the slope. It is mentioned here. It says that for every 3 units we move to the right, the line will rises 2 units. It will go up 2 units. Now, we have agreed about that the vertical line has no slope. Its slope is undefined. What about the horizontal? It has 0 slope. Why? If you take 2 points on this line, the y coordinate will be the same. If this point is x1 and y1, this point will be x2, another x, but the same y. So you will have y1 minus y1, it will be 0. 0 over a number that is not 0 is 0. So the slope of any horizontal line is what? 0. Now look, when you have something like this, when the graph is increasing, when the line is going up from the left to the right, the slope is what? When it is going down from the left to the right, when it is decreasing, getting smaller and smaller, it will be the slope is what? The slope is negative. So this is also another way that you can know or check that you are doing this in the right way or not. Now, the next part of this section is the analytic geometry. Now we talked about the line and its slope. Now about the equation. Can we represent the line by equation by x and y? The first form is called the point slope form. So if you have a point and you have the slope, you can find the equation. How is that? This is coming from the definition of the slope. Since we said that we can take any point, this one or this one, any points. Let's take any point, an arbitrary point. Let's call it x and y. Now, according to the definition of the slope, what will be m? It will be y minus y1 over x minus x1. Multiply both sides by x minus x1. You will have what is called the point slope form of the equation that is passing through this point and has a slope m. Just, it is a matter of direct substitution if you have the point and slope. Who can tell me what is the equation of the line passing through the point 1 and -3 with the slope equals -1/2? It will be what? Y minus plus 3. It will be minus 3. It will be plus 3 equals to -1/2 multiplied by x minus 1. Direct substitution. Okay, here we are. And you can simplify now. You can multiply both sides by what? By 2. And then move all the terms to the left-hand side. It is still the same equation. It is equivalent equation to the original equation. This is the point slope form. This is called the general form. Just it is about rearranging the terms. Now, what you will understand, look at the part B. In part B, he asked about sketch the line. Can you sketch the line if you have a point and the slope?
Yeah.
How to do that?
Write the first point and the next three.
we will go and we will draw a line that's passing through the point what? 1 and -3. Here we are. Then what we will do? Now the slope is what? -1 over 2. You can think about the negative with 1 or with 2. It is the same. It is up to you. Let's take the negative with 1 and keep 2 positive. This means that when you move 2 units to the right,
1 to the down.
so this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, you will go 1 unit down. You will go 3 and -4. You have 2 points now. Connect them. You will have your lines. Great. Of course, you can use, if you don't want to use the slope, you can use the x-intercept or the y-intercept, another point. You need another point, and you will, for example, you can put y equals to what? To 0 and find what is x, connected with the point that you have. Find an equation of the line through these 2 points. How to find the equation of the line if you have 2 points?
We need
Find
to
the
stop.
Get the slope from these 2 points, then use the point slope form. Use this form.
We chose one of the points.
Choose any point. It doesn't matter. Choose the easier one, the smaller one, because the calculations will be smaller. Exactly. He choose -1 and 2. Now this is written in the slope point form. You can of course multiply both sides by 2, then move all the terms to the left hand side to have it in the standard or in the general form. Again, whether you use the first point or the second, it will be the same. Now, what about if the point that you are using, we have y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. What about if x1 and y1, the point that you choose, it is the y-intercept. The y-intercept x is what?
0.
And let's say that the y-intercept, it is at b, at a point that is b. What will happen to the equation? It will be much easier. Look, if you simplify, what you will get? Y equals to mx plus b. Just this will be x, and b will be moved to the right-hand side. This form, it is I can't consider it as the standard form, by the way, but it has a name that we call it the slope-intercept form. Because here we have what? We have the slope and we have what? The y-intercept. So this is my favorite one, by the way, Shabab. We have y equals to mx plus b. What is m? M is the slope. The coefficient of x is the slope. And b is what? The y-intercept. This gives you 2 things at the same time. You have here the slope and the y-intercept. Find an equation of the line with slope 3 and y-intercept -2. What it will be? Who can tell me? Y equals to 3x minus 2. Who can tell me now what is the slope and the y-intercept of this equation, of this line? Yes. The slope is 2 over 1. Wrong. Okay. 2 over 3. How to do that? How to know?
Move the x to the other
What is
side.
that called?
Solve the equation
Solve
for y.
for y. Yes. To have the slope intercept form, you need to solve it for what? For y. Keep y alone. Isolate y on one side, and everything will be in the another side. Here we are. Solve it for y. Now compare this with the standard form. I call it the standard, but it is called indeed. We call it what? The slope intercept. The slope intercept form. Now compare it with this. This is the slope, the coefficient of x 2 over 3, and this is what? The y-intercept. Have here, by the way, already. Great. So now the vertical and the horizontal line. We already mentioned that. We said that if the line is horizontal, its slope is what? 0. And its equation will be what? You know that y equals to mx plus b. If m is 0, what will happen?
0 times x.
It will be 0 plus b. It will be b. So the y equals b is the equation of any horizontal line. What is b? The y-intercept, exactly. So the equation is y equals b, where b is the intercept. What about the vertical line? What we said about it? It has no slope. So it has no equation also, or it has equation?
No slope, there's no slope.
No slope.
Because it's zero.
What about the equation? Yes, let me show you something. If this is 2, if the x-intercept here is 2, and I draw here, if I draw a vertical line, what will be the equation of this vertical line? What is x here? Here. So its equation is x equals 2. The y-axis is a vertical line. What is its equation? What is the equation of the y-axis? X equals 0. Any vertical line, its equation is what? X equals a. What is a? The x-intercept. The x-intercept of this line. Here we are. A vertical line does not have a slope, but it has equation. Its equation is x equals a, where a is what? Is the x-intercept. Let me give you this. If you have a point on the plane, a point in the plane A and B, the line, the horizontal line that passes through this point, its equation will be y equals what? B. And the equation of the vertical line will be x equals a. A here is the x-intercept. The summary of this is here. And let me ask you now this. What is the equation of the vertical line through the point 3 and 5? What is the equation of the vertical line through the point? Y equals 5. Is it a vertical line? Y equals 5, a vertical line? X equals 3. Be careful. The equation of the vertical line is x equals. Now, what is the graph of the equation x equals 3?
Vertical line on.
It is a vertical line with x-intercept equals to what? To 3. What is the equation of the horizontal line passing through the point A in -2? Y equals -2. What is the graph of the equation y equals -2? A horizontal line with y-intercept equals -2. Great. Now that's the general form. The general form of line equation is this. If you have a line, its equation is in general written like this. Of course, A and B, not both of them are 0. If both of them are 0, we have nothing. We have 0 equals 0. Look at this interesting fact or theorem. The graph of every linear equation, this is a linear equation, the graph of every linear equation is a line. And also the converse is true. Every line is the graph of a linear equation. Look at these special cases. What will happen if A is -m and B is 1, C is -b? You will have the equation or the slope intercept form. If A is 1, B is 0, C is -a, you will have a vertical line, x equals to A. If you solve it for y, this is interesting. Solve this for y, what you will get if you solve it for y? It will be by equals to what? -ax -c, then divide by b, it will be -a over b, x minus c over. Compare this with this. What you can conclude from this? If you compare this one and this one, you will conclude that the slope is what? -a over b. And the y-intercept, it is -c over b. So this is the most important part indeed. So no need to solve for y if you want to find the slope. What you need to do, just take the negative of the coefficient of x divided by the coefficient of y. It is -a over b. This is, of course, if b is 0, it will be a vertical line. If a is 0, it will be a horizontal line. Sketch the graph of the line of this line, of this equation. Of course, the graph will be a line because this is linear what? Because it is a linear equation, its graph will be a line. Now, how to sketch? What you need to sketch a graph of a line? What you need? You need mainly we need 2 points. If you have 2 points, you can sketch the graph of any line. If you want, you can find 2 points. How to find 2 points? The best points you should think about the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Both x equals 0, find what is y. Both y equals 0, find what is x. So you can do that. Here it is, by the way. This is the method that he used. He find x-intercept by setting y equals to 0, then set x equals to 0. Now, these are the 2 points, connect them. You can use any other points, but this will save your time because it will minimize the calculations. How can we do that? By using the slope without using 2 points. We can know that the slope is what? What is the slope? Negative?
Negative 2 over.
You should agree about this, guys.
2 over 3.
What is the slope of this line?
2 over 3. Not negative.
What is the slope of this line?
2 over 3.
2 over 3.
Are you still insisting that it is negative?
No, it's negative over negative.
So simplify. So it is 2 over 3. This is the slope. So what does this tell us? Of course, now you can choose any point on this line. How to start? You can choose any line on this. For example, you can put x equals to what? To 0 and find y, or y find x, and then you can go. This means that when you go 3 units to the right, the graph will goes up 2 units. So you can use, of course, other 2 points to do that. The another way, the third way, this is a second way. The third way is to use my favorite form. Solve it for what? For y. Look, what you will have from here? For free. For free, you will have what? The slope, and so you will have a point and the slope from 2 in 1. Now you can go and sketch this point, and you will go 3 units to the right. 1, 2, 3. Then you will go 2 units up. You will be here. And this is another point. Connect them. Sketch the graph of the line. Excellent. This is exactly what we did in the second solution. Parallel and perpendicular lines. 2 lines are parallel. 2 lines are parallel if what? If they go in the same direction, like this. If they never ever meet each other or intersect each other in the plane. So they will keep just asymptotes to each other, neighbor for each other forever. If you have lines like this, they are called parallel. So if this is line number 1, this is line number 2, we will say that line number 1 is parallel to line number 2, and we will write it like this. What you can notice clearly, they have the same slope. Their slope is the same. So if the slope of this one is m1 and the slope of this one is m2, then m1 equals to m2. And we have this interesting fact. 2 non-vertical lines, they are parallel if and only if they have the same slope. If they are vertical, of course, both of them have no slope. Example, find an equation of the line through this point that is parallel to this line. Now, don't mix up between, we have here 2 lines. In this question, we have 2 lines, not 1 line. So don't mix up between them. Because I have noticed that many students, they are mixing up. They substitute this point here. Can we do that?
No.
Is this point lying on this line? No, it is on the another line. So to avoid any confusion here, write this L1. So this is line number 1. Line number 1, you have what on it? You have a point, and you have that is parallel to line number 2. Line number 2 is given for you. So you can find from L2, you can find what? The slope. Now you need to find what is L1. What you know about L1? That the slope of M1 is the same as M2. Find M2 by solving for y. You can find it directly without solving for y, which is -2 over 3. So what will be the slope of the first line? Also -2 over 3. Now you will use which form to find the equation of the L1?
Negative y equals.
What is it? The name of it?
Slope.
The slope intercept
Y
form.
equals mx plus b.
Can you use that? Do you have the intercept?
I have the slope and I have a point.
So we will use which form? The point slope, the point slope form, or the slope point form. Here we are, we have the slope and we have a point. Now we will simplify. We will write it always in the general form. Multiply by 3, combine and rearrange the terms, you have this equation. This is the equation of the line that we are looking for. Now, the perpendicular line, what are the perpendicular line?
They meet on a point.
Geometrically, they not any, these are joining at a point, but they are not perpendicular. Okay, let me make it more clear for you that they are not, when you have the, like this line like this and another line like this, these are not perpendicular. The perpendicular lines are two lines. Again, they are not, because we are talking about slopes. So the angle between them, is right angle. It is 90 degrees or pi over 2. So these are two lines that they are perpendicular to each other. What is the relationship between their slopes? If this is L1 and this is L2, it is proved that M1 it is equals to M2. If you are interested in the proof, it is in your textbook. So now the relationship between the slopes will be what? The product of the slopes will be equals to -1. In other words, if you solve it for M2, it will be M2 equals to -1 over M1, or M1 is equals to -1 over M2. So just remember this word and these two words, and it will be enough. What is the relationship between the slopes of two perpendicular lines? They are negative reciprocals of each other. Change the sign and flip it down, up, down for the numerator and denominator. And this will confirm what we said before. If you have a horizontal line, its slope is what? Is 0. What will be now the negative reciprocal of 0? -1 over, which is what? Which is undefined and no slope. And this, of course, I agree with what we said before. Now we will solve another question that we solved in 1.1, if you remember. How we solve this in 1.1? If you have 3 points and you need to show that they are vertices of a right triangle, what you will do?
The distance.
You will apply the Pythagorean theorem. How to apply the Pythagorean theorem? To show that if you have a triangle, how to show that it is a right triangle? Let's call this C and this is A, this is B. You will, and you have A, B, C, for example, 3 points. What you need to do to show that it is a right triangle, you will show that C squared equals to A squared plus B squared. And how to find A, B, and C? You need to find the distance from A to B, the distance from B to C, the distance from C to where? To A. And in this case, of course, you need to do a lot of calculations. But with the help of the slopes now, it will be so easy. What you need to do? You need just to know where is the right angle. Is it at V or at Q or at R? If it is not given for you, you need to find where it is, okay? Now, if you have it, it is so easy to show that it is right triangle. How to do that? Just find the slope of this line and the slope of this line. If the product of them is -1, then they are perpendicular to each other. And the angle between them is a right angle, and the triangle is a right triangle. Clear? So what do you think, Shabab? Which point here it is the corner or the head or the vertex that has the right angle there? How to know?
Slope. Any 2 points. Just check the slope between.
Sketch the points. This is how to know which point they will be. Because I think it is clear here that if you sketch the graph, you will be able. If you are not sure what you need to do, you need to check the slopes between P and R, between R and Q, between Q and P. But this will save your time if you know where is the possible, which one is the longer one. And it will be corresponding always, the hypotenuse will be corresponding to the right angle. Now, what we need to do, we will just find the slope of this line, PR, and we will call it M1, and the slope of this one, let's call it M2. Now, the product should be equals to what? -1. Let's start with PR. Who find what is PR? The slope M1. What is M1? Mentally, who can give me mentally what is it? It is 1/4. 1/4. And the slope between QR, M2, what is M2? -4. The product of them is what? -1. So what we conclude from this? The lines are what? Perpendicular. Since they are perpendicular, the angle between them is a right angle, and then the triangle is a right triangle. The last example, find an equation of the line that is perpendicular to this line and passes through the origin. So again, we have here two lines in this question. Line number one, we have a point on this line, which is the origin 0 and 0. We know that it is perpendicular to another line, L2. L2 is given by the equation, its equation. Now, what we want, what is the equation of L1? How to find that?
Find the slope.
We will use the fact that the product of the slopes is -1. And we need now to find M2. M2 is clear. Who can tell me what is M2?
-2/6.
-2/3.
Simplify.
-4/6, which is -2/3. Here it is. This is M2. Now, what is M1? 3/2. The negative reciprocal. The negative reciprocal. Change the sign, take the reciprocal. Now, which form now what we will use to find the equation of L1? The point slope form, the original one, the one that we started with. And it will be this nice form after simplification. You can check that it passed through the origin or not. Okay, we are done. This is 1.3. This is the summary of this section. The most important part that you need to remember here, the three forms. We have point slope, slope intercept, and general form. We have three forms for the equation. You can go from each one of them to the another one. How to find the slope, the vertical, horizontal line, perpendicular, and parallel lines. And you have here many interesting exercises, like this one, for example. Here you have 6 slopes and 6 lines. You need to match between them. And I will leave it for you to have fun. Try to solve it, try to practice. Don't see the solution, just try to solve, then check the solution. Now let's practice by solving some recitation exercises. The first one, by the way, it is similar to the example that we solved. The idea, it is already, who can tell me what is the idea as a hint? You have 3 points here. No need to sketch. Read the question. If A is -1 and 2, B is -10 and 5, C is -4 and K are the vertices of a right triangle where the right angle is at B, then what is the value of K? So what you will do?
Find the slope of CB.
You will find the slope of AB and BC. Then
Multiply
the product of them equals to negative
equal to 1.
-1. You will have equation.
Solve it for K.
Solve it for K. Let's do that, Shabab. Do it. And I will take the attendance during that. Let's check if it is 23. It is 23. Okay, I will give you another chance in the next exercise. Let's solve this together. So now, what is this problem says? It says that the slope, let's call it MAB equals BC. Is that right? No, this is not right. Be careful. The product of them. The product of them. Okay. The product of them is equals to what? -1. Okay. So what should you do? 5 minus 2 over -10 plus 1 times K minus 5 over -4 plus 10. This equals to -1. Is that right? Did you do the same, or there is another way? You just need to find this, and then it will be the reciprocal of the another one. You can do it like that. It is the same. Okay. Now what you need to do? This will be what? 3 over what? -9, which is what?
1 over the negative.
-3rd. So now this should be equal to what? Let me do it for you this way. So here we are. This is the slope from A to B. Now the slope from B to C should be equals to what? Because now this will be like this. This is B, this is A, this is C, for example. So this will be the right, if it is right. This will be the right angle. So this must be equals to what?
3.
To 3. So what is it? It is K minus 5 over negative 4 plus 10. Don't change the direction. This equals to 3, which means that K minus 5 over what? Over 6 equals to 3, which means that K minus 5 equals to 18, which means that K equals to what? 23. You can use the method that I show you at the beginning. You can use it. Why not? It is the same. Let's solve this, Shabab. Find the value of K so that the line passing through the points is parallel to that line. Practice. It is negative 28. Make sure, Shabab, where is the mistake? Did you did the mistake at the beginning? Is it in the concept? You don't know how to start? Or it is about the calculations? You need to be careful if it is about just positive, negative signs. So what is the idea of solving this question? What is the idea? We have two lines. The first line, we have 2 points on this line, and it is given for us that it is parallel to L2. L2 is given for me. L2, it is this line. Its slope is what? And now the slope of the first line, I need to know, I need to find out what is L1. I need to know what is the equation of L1 to find the K. Now I need M1. Now because it is parallel to this line, what is the slope of this line? Negative a half. Negative 1 over 2. Solve it for y. If you are not sure, you can solve it for y. It will be negative x plus 1, then divide by 2. It is negative 1. So this is negative a half. So the slope of this line should be equal to negative a half. Now you have 2 points on this line. So what you can do? You can find the slope from what? Yes. They are parallel to each other, not perpendicular. Be careful. So they are parallel. So because of that, M1 should be equals to M what? M2. But in fact, from here, what is M1? It is 2 minus 11 over K minus 2, which should be plus 2. Is that right? This should be equals to what? Negative a half. How to do that now, Shabab? Simplify. 13 over K plus 2 equals to negative 1 over 2. Take the negative, cross multiply now. Cross multiply, what you will get? You will get negative 26 equals to K plus 2. Don't take the negative with negative. If you can do that, why not? But it is better to keep it with the single term. This implies that what? Move 2 to the another side, add negative 2 for both sides. K equals to what? Negative 28. It is important to write the step here to avoid any mistake if you are not sure, because it will be easier for you to revise. If you have a mistake, it will be easier for you to know where is the mistake. Great. We still have like 5 minutes. The equation of this is very easy question. Mentally, you can solve this. What is the equation of the line passing through the point 4 and 1, and it is parallel to x equals 5? Trivial. This is a trivial question. It is x equals 4. You have a point at 4 and 1. Here it is. And you have the equation of the line passing through this point, and it is parallel to x equals 5. This is x equals 5. This is the line x equals 5. So what will be the line that is parallel to this and passing through this point? Parallel, it means like this and passing through this point. So it is x equals 4. Great. I will leave the other exercises for you to practice, or we can practice another time with the review, because I know that some of you, they are A+ students. I want you to think about solving this. Solve this question. I think this can be considered as A+ question, or A, let's say, A or A+ question. How to solve it, Shabab? This is an old exam question. This is a question about 1.2 and 1.3 together. Think about it and tell me what is your plan. Find the center. The center is -3 and -3 and -4. You are right. Good start, by the way. Next. Find the radius. The radius is square root of 3. So what is the benefit of that? Find the center is a good step. Find the radius, it is square root of 3. So, but where you will use it? Yes.
Find the slope.
The slope of what?
The center and the point of the line. Then multiply the reciprocal, the negative reciprocal. Then continue the equation.
Good idea. He's solved it. Thank you. Great. You deserve a bonus. What is your serial number? 20? 29. Muhammad? No, this is not Muhammad. Khalid? 29. Khalid Mahmoud. Excellent, Mahmoud. Khalid. Excellent idea. Did you understand, Shabab, what he said? Yes? We will find the center and the line joining these two points. We can find its slope, which is the radius. Now, can we find the slope of this line? Because the center now is -3 and negative what? -4. Can you find the slope? Yes. So what is the relationship between this line? This is line number 2. This is line number 1. What is the relationship between them? The product of their slopes, they are perpendicular. Equal -1. So now, can you find the slope of this line, line number 1? What is it? From here. This is the equation of line number 1. No, what is the slope?
Negative A over
It is A over B. So A over B will be equals to the slope that you will obtain from here, or to the negative of it, the negative reciprocal. Let's call this one M2, so it will be -1 over M2. And from here you have equation for what? For A and B. Now you have one equation with the 2 variables. How to find A and B? It is an interesting question, Shabab. Think about it. I think I have solved it for you and uploaded the solution in the Blackboard, but please don't look at the solution. Try to solve it without looking at the solution. If you cannot solve it today, no problem. Solve it tomorrow. Give it time to even next week. Try to solve it. Thank you and see you after tomorrow.